Hey, what's up, everybody? Andrew from Fantasy Aid here to give you my Tier 2 pitching for the 2017 season. Picking up where I left off, we'll just jump right in at number 14. And number 14 is Steven Strasburg. Now, Strasburg had a decent season last year, and he's got ace stuff. He had 15 wins in 24 starts. The only concerning thing was it went from 1.8 walks per 9 innings in 2015 to 2.7 in 2016. And obviously, health is a big concern, and that's mostly why I don't want to rely on him as a number one on my fantasy team. He just needs to stay healthy because obviously he does have the stuff. Number 15, Jacob DeGrom. He had a really good first half with a 2.64 ERA. His second half was a little bit worse, 3.76 ERA. Obviously, he was on the DL for some of that time. And he had an 8.7 strike K per 9 inning strikeout rate, which wasn't as high as I wanted. But obviously, he's going to give you good numbers if he can stay healthy. It's just, it seems like everyone mistrusts the entire Mets rotation when it comes to that. Number 16 is C-Mark, Carlos Martinez. One concerning thing about him is K rate in 2015 was 9.2 per 9. That fell down to 8 per 9 in 2016. And, he's got 3 years of 3 walks per 9 or more, in a row. He needs to work on efficiency. He needs to work on control if he wants to crack the top 15 and really become a fantasy ace mainstay. He has great stuff. He has great velocity. He just needs to control the game better. Number 17, Kyle Hendricks, who had a career 2.13 ERA for the Cubs last year. His FIP was 3.2, and he's always been a low whip guy, so that's good. Obviously he's not going to be as good. There's regression coming, but I don't think it's going to be like a major windfall regression. He's going to be one of those solid guys who just gives you a good ratios every time out. Number 18, Chris Archer, the guy I thought was going to take his next step forward to becoming an ace, and he took a step back. He had a 4.02 ERA. But he did lower that. He had a 3.25 ERA in the second half, and his hard contact also fell 4% in the second half, which really helped him there. He had a career high walk rate. I mean, his walk rate is just way too high, but the strikeouts are there. That's his second straight year of 10 Ks per 9 or more. Definitely just going to see more control, less walks for him, just kind of like Carlos Martinez. He's got the stuff. Number 19, Cole Hamels. His first full year in Texas, his 3.32 ERA was good. He had a career high in WHIP, and that's mostly due to his career high in walks, which was 3.5 per 9. Not too concerned there. He proved he can pitch in Texas for a full year and still give you good ratios, so no concerns there. Number 20, Rookie of the Year, Michael Fulmer. Fulmer had an incredible first half. He had a 2.11 ERA in the first half, 8.45 Ks per 9, but he kind of fell off in the second half. He had a decent 3.94 ERA, but his strikeout total was just laughably low at 6.56 per 9. Definitely has to bring that up. I kind of view him as a mid to low 3 ERA guy. He'll give you around 8 Ks per 9, which isn't that bad. And then, of course, ahead of him at number 21, we got Tanaka, who had a solid year with the Yankees. He had a 3.07 ERA, but everyone just seems like to treat him as injury prone every year. I know I do, and even though I don't think it's entirely fair, that's just kind of the view I have on him. Number 22 is Julio Teheran. First half was great, 2.96 ERA. Second half was still good with a 3.63 ERA, but he did manage to reduce his hard contact percentage by 5% in the second half. So I think that rise in the ERA was more bad luck. He gives you a low whip. He'll give you a decent amount of strikeouts, and he's probably going to get more wins on the Atlanta Braves team this year. Disappointment, Zach Greinke in his first year in Arizona. Just an awful year all around. Just better to erase it from your memories. 4.37 ERA. Second half was atrocious. 6.02 ERA. His second half soft contact rate fell by 5.2% to only 16.89%. The one thing to take away from it, though, is if you look at his contact rates overall the entire year, they weren't too much outside what he had in past years. So I think he is going to bounce back. He's not going to be the Dodgers pitcher, but he's not this bad either. And then behind him, Jose Quintana. He had his first double-digit win season with the White Sox last year. He's not one of those flashy guys, but he's the guy that will lock down your second starting pitching rotation and give you good strikeout numbers, good ERA, good WHIP. Then 25, Danny Salazar is a very interesting case. He had a 10.6 Ks per 9 as a whole last year. Yeah, obviously, he got injured in the second half. Very good first half. He had a ERA of 2.75 in the first half, but he only pitched 32.2 innings in the second half with a 7.44 ERA. Even though he did get the strikeout rate up to 11.85 per 9, the strikeouts are just so enticing, but I know I watched a lot of his games last year, and it's just frustrating. He had 4.1 walks per 9, and he doesn't have control. He struggles to get out of the fifth with his pitch count. He just needs to become much more efficient. And if he has to sacrifice a little bit of the strikeout rate for that, it's worth it, He can still be a high strikeout guy, but he's got to get out of the fifth inning. Aaron Sanchez is number 26. He went 15-2 last year for the Blue Jays. 3 ERA, 7.5 Ks per 9. That's all you can ask from Sanchez. Definitely a solid year for him. I was really good to see it. He took that nice step forward, unlike his teammate Stroman. And then number 27, Garrett Cole, injured for a lot of last year. 3.88 ERA. Kind of concerning that he had 10.2 hits per 9 last year, but kind of just chalk it up to an injury year and see where he goes in 2017. Cy Young Award winner Rick Porcello had a record amount of wins last year, 22-4. Definitely lower ERA. In 2015, it was 4.92. In 2016, it went down to 3.15. And his hits per 9 definitely fell too. It fell from 10.3 in 2015 to only 7.8 in 2016. And he had a better second half with a 2.62 ERA. I don't think he'll repeat last season, but I think he's going to be a solid guy, especially with all the wins he's going to get in that Boston team. Number 29, Rich Hill. And the biggest question on him is, can he stay healthy? Because when he is healthy, he produces. He had a 10.5 K per 9 in 110 innings last year. But obviously, if you owned him, I owned him a lot. It was just frustrating that it's just that blister kept coming up over and over, and it really just limited him. He would be much higher on this list if there wasn't a health risk involved. But, he's just getting older, and, it's just going to be interesting to see, can he overcome that. Number 30 is Tanner Roark, who is one guy I think is a little underrated when it comes to fantasy. He went 16-10 last year, 2.83 ERA. He did have pretty high walk total, 3.1, but I think that's kind of an anomaly for him, and he was able to get that strikeout rate up. It was super low at 5.7 per 9 in 2015, and it went up to 7.4 in 2016, so that's definitely a plus. The Nats lineup is crazy good. I think he'll get a lot of wins, and he always provided that low ERA throughout his entire career. Number 31, Alex Reyes for the Cardinals, big prospect. He had a 1.57 ERA last year in 46 innings, 10.2 Ks per 9. Obviously, the biggest thing is the 4.5 walks per 9. If he's going to become a fantasy ace, he needs to get those walks down. Danny Duffy played in 42 games last year. 26 of them were starts. He had a 3.56 ERA as a starter, and he's solid. I didn't buy into him when he first started doing it, but he proved he could pitch well as a starter on a consistent basis. He's not going to be an ace or anything, but he's going to give you decent stats. And then finally, at number 33, we have Steven Matz. Matz pitched in 22 games last year for 132.1 innings, 3.40 ERA. Obviously, with the rest of the Mets pitching, there's that injury concern with his arm. But, he's definitely got great stuff. Maybe not as good as DeGrom, but he should definitely be a solid starter if he stays healthy. So if you have any questions, you can Twitter me at FantasyAbe1, or you can email me at FantasyAbe1 at gmail.com. For Fantasy 8, I'm Andrew, and thanks for watching.